MSNBC really tried it. They actually asked if the affordability crisis was Trump's fault, because apparently in their world, the guy fixing the mess is the one who caused it. But Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent wasn't buying it. He politely and surgically reminded them that Biden inherited nothing less than an affordability crisis of his own making, and that Trump's policies are what's finally slowing it down. Let's watch him give it right back.
Mr. Secretary, it's not news anchors at NBC saying it, it's the voters a week ago saying life is too expensive in this country. So do you believe the idea that voters are saying affordability is a problem for me is a con job?
I believe even this morning you had two people come on and say, well, I look at the price at the pump and I know costs are up. Well, gasoline's down. So that is a con job. And I think that's what's frustrating.
So you don't believe that all the people who went to vote last Tuesday on the issue of affordability, my rent's too high, I can't afford to buy a house, groceries are too expensive, you think they're just misperceiving what's happening in their lives?
I think that that we inherited an affordability crisis. We have slowed the price increases down, and they are going to continue to slow down, and that real working class wages will go up, and that will address the affordability issue. And, I think this is what Democrats are afraid to do. They've gone to the courts to try to stop President Trump and this great economy. That hasn't worked. They get overruled at SCOTUS. We go to the media, who carries their water. That hasn't worked, so they shut down the government and hurt the economy. Let's keep the economy open, let our policies kick in, and let's see if what I just talked about, let's see if those two lines cross. Costs come down, real wages go up, and then we can have an election next November.
You can blame the media. I understand that's part of your job, but let's talk about voters who are saying life is too expensive. Not just talking about Democrats in New York City who might have voted for Mayor-elect Mamdani, ranchers, Republicans in red states saying things are too expensive. What do you say to them? Not that it's a con job, but they feel like life is too expensive, but that it's a reality of their lives.
I say that there are many aspects of affordability that have gotten better under President Trump. They're going to continue to get better. I mean, unbelievably, Bloomberg had an article yesterday that said, oh, mortgage rates aren't down that much. Well, on Inauguration Day, a 30-year mortgage was 7.8%. Yesterday it was 6.22%. That is the single biggest component of buying a new home. And that is a gigantic drop. But it said, oh, they're just down slightly.
And that's exactly the point. You can slow inflation all you want, but that doesn't mean people are back above water yet. Because when your paycheck's been underwater for years, less bad still feels like drowning. White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett explains the numbers behind why Americans still feel stretched, even as Trump's recovery policies kick in.
The president has also been talking about affordability. Mm-hmm. And our CBS polling shows the president's approval rating in the economy has dipped to 38%, the lowest of this term. 75% of those polled say he's not focusing enough on lowering prices. But the president said this week Democrats are making it up and, quote, every price is down. I'm sure you know the Consumer Price Index showed grocery prices are up nearly 3% in September from a year ago. Do you dispute that?
Well, let's go through the facts, right? So inflation went up about 5% under President Biden. In President Trump's first 8-9 months, depending where we get the last number, it's up 2.7%. One of the big things that's hurting affordability is mortgages. The interest rate went up by about 4%. No, grocery prices are actually down significantly under Trump. But here's the thing.
It depends on which
I just make a point. If you look at the real reduction in spending power for Americans under Joe Biden, then it went down about $3,000 because we had up to 9% inflation, and then they went to the grocery store. They couldn't buy the things they were used to buying. The real spending power, adjusted for inflation, under President Trump has gone up about $1,200 so far this year. $1,200 is not $3,000. And so people are right to feel stretched, but we're making progress. And if you look at all the things, the positive things about the economy, industrial production just about at an all-time high, capital spending about at an all-time high, GDP growth right now about 4%, then that shows that the income growth that we need to get it more affordability is on the path to happening. And the bottom line is that the last Consumer Price Index surprised down. It was lower than expected. And it was actually would have even been lower than that because there was a refinery shutdown that caused it to go slightly higher. So we see inflation under control and the economy booming, but we understand 100% why people are still hurting because we haven't made up all the room that was lost under Joe Biden.
So are you comfortable with 3% inflation?
I'm comfortable with 2% inflation.
So no, you're not happy where things are now.
Well, they're going to go down a little bit more, but the point is that inflation is like the Queen Mary, my friend Alan Greenspan used to say. And so when you go from the almost 4% that we had in January down to the mid-2s, then that's a trajectory that usually has momentum.
Under Biden, real income sank about $3,000. Under Trump, we've regained around $1,200. It's progress, but it's not payday. The trajectory is going in the right direction, but the pain is still real. So what about you? Do you feel like your income's catching up, or are you still treading water every time you hit the grocery store? Drop a comment below, like and subscribe. Do you have the patience to see if Trump's plan can finish cleaning up Biden's inflation mess? I'm Brian Tuttimore with today's Faith Check News. And remember, think right to live free.
Some folks have raised worries that this could be a sign of persistent inflation. But that's not our view. Our experts believe, and the data shows, that most of the price increases we've seen were expected and are expected to be temporary.